Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Behind every shadow, there's a story darker than fear itself. These are the tales of those who crossed every moral boundary, leaving horror in their wake. Today, we're counting down the deadliest serial killers in history, ranked by their confirmed victims. Prepare yourself, because these stories are as chilling as they are true. Let's begin. Number 10. Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker. Between 1984 and 1985, Ramirez terrorized California with a series of brutal home invasions, sexual assaults, and murders. His attacks were random, his methods savage. He crept into homes under the cover of darkness, choosing victims at random. He broke into homes and murdered at least 13 people. What made Ramirez even more terrifying was his connection to Satanism, often leaving occult symbols at crime scenes. His reign of terror ended in 1985 when he was captured by civilians. He showed no remorse and spent the rest of his life in prison, dying in 2013. Number 9. David Berkowitz, also known as the Son of Sam. In 1976, New York City was plunged into terror. Berkowitz stalked the streets at night, targeting young couples in parked cars. Berkowitz shot and killed 6 people. He claimed a demon-possessed dog commanded him to kill. Berkowitz taunted police with cryptic letters, fueling media frenzy and widespread panic. His capture in 1977 brought relief, but left behind a city forever changed by fear. Berkowitz is serving 6 life sentences and claims to have found redemption in prison. Number 8. Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee Cannibal. From 1978 to 1991, Dahmer murdered and dismembered 17 men and boys. Dahmer lured young men to his apartment. What happened next was a nightmare. He drugged, murdered, and dismembered his victims. But his crimes didn't stop there. He kept body parts as trophies and even attempted bizarre experiments on his victims. When police uncovered Dahmer's apartment, they found severed heads, photographs, and human remains. His crimes shocked the world. Dahmer was sentenced to life, but was killed in prison in 1994. Number 7. John Wayne Gacy, the Killer Clown. By day, he entertained children as Pogo the Clown. By night, he preyed on young men, luring them to his home with promises of work. He tortured and murdered 33 victims, burying most beneath his house. The discovery of his crimes in 1978 horrified the world. How could someone so cheerful hide such darkness? Gacy was executed in 1994, but his chilling double life remains infamous. Number 6. Ted Bundy. He was charming, educated, and deadly. Bundy used his charisma to lure women, feigning injury to gain their sympathy. But once they were alone, his true nature emerged. Bundy confessed to 30 murders across multiple states. Though the real number is likely higher, he escaped custody twice, killing again before his final arrest. His trial became a media circus, and his execution in 1989 was a public spectacle. Number 5. Andrei Chikatilo, the Butcher of Rostov. From 1978 to 1990, he killed at least 52 women and children in Russia. His crimes were grotesque, involving mutilation and cannibalism. He exploited the Soviet justice system's weaknesses, evading capture for years. When finally caught, his confessions were chilling. Chikatilo was executed in 1994, but his crimes left deep scars on Russian society. Number 4. Pedro Alonso Lopez, the Monster of the Andes. Lopez preyed on young girls in Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. His spree lasted from 1969 to 1980. He confessed to murdering over 300, though only 110 were confirmed. He was released after just 14 years and disappeared. To this day, his whereabouts remain a mystery. Lopez's story is a grim reminder of how justice can sometimes fail. Number 3. Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer. Ridgway targeted vulnerable women in Washington state during the 1980s and 1990s. He strangled his victims and discarded their bodies in wooded areas and near the Green River. For years, he evaded capture, even passing a lie detector test. DNA evidence eventually sealed his fate in 2001. He confessed to 71 murders but was convicted of 49. Ridgway will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Number 2. Harold Shipman, a trusted British doctor turned murderer. Shipman killed over 250 patients between 1975 and 1998, injecting them with lethal doses of painkillers. His crimes went unnoticed for years, masked by his medical profession. It wasn't until unusual patterns in patient deaths emerged that suspicion grew. Shipman took his own life in 2004, leaving behind a legacy of betrayal and horror. And finally, number 1. Luis Garavito, the deadliest serial killer in history. Garavito lured homeless boys with gifts and promises of food. He then subjected them to unimaginable cruelty. Authorities confirmed 138 murders, though the real number may be much higher. Captured in 1999, his light sentence of 22 years sparked outrage worldwide. Garavito's story is a haunting testament to the darkest depths of human depravity. These are stories of horror, but also of justice. Which case shocked you the most? Tell me in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more dark stories from history's shadows.